Hi, I'm Congressman Steve King of Iowa, and I wish I could be with you today and have this discussion in person, but I'm glad to have the opportunity to convey to you what a wonderful chain of miracles were put together because of a tragedy, but also because just of the presence and the driving force and the deep faith and conviction of Dr. Steve Meyer. As modest as he will tell you this story, he is the linchpin of the chain of miracles that had to come together to save the Tanzanian miracle kids. The tragedy of a bus accident last May, and roughly the first week in May, 38 people on the bus, mostly children 10 to 12 years old, and of the 38, only 3 survived. And some of the volunteers to Dr. Meyer's operation in Tanzania were not very far behind that bus, and they pulled out the survivors and they pulled out those who did not survive. And they prayed over the bodies and they helped get the survivors off to the hospital. But I got a call from Steve Meyer, and it was, Steve, we need a miracle. We need a medevac plane to fly these kids out of Tanzania. I can't save them here. And we need passports and visas. That all sounds like it's a pretty simple task until you try to arrange a medevac plane from Tanzania to Sioux City, Iowa, where all other medical services and surgery were all donated. It didn't cost the taxpayers a dime. But I made 30-some phone calls and had others making phone calls. We had a network out, and finally was able to make contact with Reverend Franklin Graham, and he said to me, we have a DC-8 and we'll fly them out of Africa to Sioux City for you. And I said, Reverend Graham, I don't know that I can raise the money. I'm really looking at a $250,000 to $300,000 bill for a flight like that. And I said, I don't know that I can raise the money. And he said, you won't need to, we'll take care of it. Well, just a couple, 3 days later, the Samaritan's Purse, the DC-8, arrived in Tanzania, flew those 3 miracle kids out of Tanzania to Sioux City while they were met by an excellent top-notch medical team headed up by Dr. Steve Meyer. I went to visit them a little over a week later when they had been all patched back together with their multiple fractures, and they were rolled out into the hallway for the first time and got to see each other for the first time since the accident. And I've watched now as these kids have developed and gotten back on their feet again. But the greatest day for me and the entire year of 2017 was August 18th on the tarmac at Kilimanjaro Airport with thousands of Tanzanians there to welcome home their sons, their daughters and son, who stepped down onto the soil of their home country for the first time since May, healthy and engaged back in life. Now, really ambassadors to the United States from Tanzania, and they're the embodiment of what our deep Christian faith and the heart that we have as Americans came together to save their lives. And I'll always know that had it not been for the chain of miracles led by linchpin Dr. Steve Meyer, I would have never had the opportunity to forge my link in that chain of miracles.